Good morning and welcome to the vlog. I am going to show you today how to make literally the best Thanksgiving stuffing or dressing, whatever you call it, you've ever had in your life. Once again, it's my Aunt Tanya's recipe. She's the greatest cook of all time. I think she probably got the recipe from her mom, who is also the greatest cook of all time. So I'm just passing these down generation to generation so you can reap the benefits of the greatest recipes of all time. So I'm gonna start out by showing you all the ingredients you're gonna need. Super cheap. Like, I think I got all these ingredients for like less than $10 for sure. So here's the ingredients. You're gonna need a big container of Swanson chicken broth. I think it's like, 48 ounces. 2 boxes of Jiffy corn muffin mix. A can of cream of celery soup. Can of cream of chicken soup. These frozen chopped onions. I mean, I guess you could chop your own onions if you want, but it just makes life a little easier. A stick of butter. You're just gonna need 5 slices of, the recipe literally says cheap white bread. So literally this was like $1 for this whole loaf, or less than that. You're gonna need some milk to make the corn muffins and some eggs. You'll need 2 eggs to make the corn muffin mix, and then you'll need 5 more for the recipe later. So 7 eggs total. So these are all the ingredients. The first thing you do is just make both boxes of the corn muffin mix. So I just make them together in the KitchenAid and then pour them in one 8x8 pan and bake them together until it's done like you would make regular cornbread. All right, time to mix it all up. Now that's gonna go in the oven and bake as the instructions say on the box, so about 30 minutes. All right, the cornbread just came out of the oven. Doesn't matter if it caves in or whatever, it doesn't look perfect. You're literally just about to crumble this up in a bowl. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Just take this thing, literally just, well, if it'll come out. Might need some help. Get a knife. See, it doesn't even matter if it like breaks up whenever you're putting it in there because you're about to crumble it up anyway. Boom. You're just gonna crumble this up in here really good. That's just all crumbled up in there. And I forgot to say, you wait till that's cooled before you crumble it up in here. So that's crumbled up in there. We're gonna leave that to the side for a second. Then we are going to pour the whole chicken broth into this pot and put a stick of butter in there and let it melt and just let those flavors mingle real good. So my chicken broth's in there. I'm putting 1 whole stick of butter, and then I'm gonna let that come to a boil. The water or the butter's gonna melt in there, and then I'm gonna mix that up real good. Then over here, I'm gonna start this pan with a 1/2 stick of butter, and I'm gonna use this whole bag of chopped frozen onions and get those simmering. So I'll show you in a second what that looks like. Oh, also I lied at the beginning. You do not need 1 stick of butter, you need 1 1/2, because I have a full stick of butter going in here with the broth, and then I have a 1/2 stick of butter going over here with the bag of onions. So those are going over there. And then I'm about to start another step while these are still working. Okay, so next step, you're gonna get a medium-sized bowl, and this is where the bread, you're gonna need your bread and eggs. So you're gonna take 6 pieces of that cheap white bread. I don't really know why the recipe calls for the cheap white bread. I'm assuming it's because it doesn't really matter, because either way it's going to taste the same. So why spend a lot of money? So I'm going to take 3, and you're just going to like rip it up into little pieces, just like if you were feeding a duck at the pond. So getting those all chopped up in there really good. Then you're going to crack 5 eggs in here, and you're going to whisk it all together really good. So we have my eggs and my bread all up in this bowl. I'm just gonna whisk it all together. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Whisk it together really good. Can't do it with one hand. Hold, please. All right, so you just wanna get your bread as mashed up in those eggs as you can. Just whisk it together real good. It's still gonna be kind of chunky, but that's okay. Meanwhile, over here, my butter's melting in my chicken broth. My onions are cooking really good, and this butter, these cook until they're translucent. So look, see, they're not translucent yet. So these have to cook for quite a while. I remember the first couple times I made it, I was like, am I still supposed to be cooking these onions? But yeah, cook them for a long time. Keep going. Keep going. All right, so these are looking pretty good. The butter's really sopped up into those onions. Look done. They smell amazing. So now the onions are gonna go and be mixed in to the egg and bread mixture. So I'm gonna mix those in really good, and then I'm going to add in the cream of chicken soup and the cream of celery soup. Grab those. I'm gonna mix those in next. Okay, so the soups are in there. I'm gonna give those a good mix. Once this is all mixed up, I'm gonna add this whole mixture to the cornbread. All right, so now everything is mixed together except for the chicken broth, and you can tell it's just like really thick right now. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna add the chicken broth and butter mixture until this is a jiggly consistency. And this is normally the part where I have to FaceTime my Aunt Tanya and be like, is this jiggly enough? Is this too jiggly? So just add a little bit at a time until it's the right consistency, because if you over add, then you can't take it out. So I'm just gonna start adding, see how much we're gonna need to do. So I added about 4 ladlefuls in here, and you can tell it's not as thick, but it's still definitely way too thick. When you shake it, it should be able to jiggle really good, and it's still pretty firm. So I'm gonna keep adding. All right, then put it in your casserole dish. This is about the jiggly consistency it should be. And you're gonna put it in the oven on 350 for 1 hour. So here it goes. 1 hour later, and boom, best stuffing you've ever had. I dare you to try it. Gotta go, there's a screaming baby.